So, inevitably, Sir Keir Starmer has been hoisted by his own petard. Footage has been released of him and presumably some other Labour staff and aides having food and a few beers inside the party office. You know what? I don't care. I don't care. This is getting so unbelievably nauseous and pathetic. This is making headline news now that politicians are being hypocritical and maybe not quite living by their own rules, although at least in Sir Keir Starmer's case, I guess he could claim that he didn't actually make the rules in the first place. He merely voted them in sheep style because he had provided absolutely no opposition to the Tory steamrollering of our freedoms and of our civil liberties. Do we have a right to be annoyed by Keir Starmer having some takeaway pizza and beer apparently while they were working? Yeah, if you want. Yeah, if you want to get crossed by that, get crossed by that. But maybe more importantly, we should be getting cross at his complete lack of opposition to the Tories over the last 2 years. How he just blindly voted through all of the Tory policies which put us into lockdowns and stripped away our freedoms when there's been no scientific proof that this really, in the long term, provided us any great health benefit as a nation. Maybe that's what we should be upset with Sir Keir Starmer, man of the people, for. Rather than him maybe enjoying a couple of bottles of beer with his takeaway pizza or curry or whatever. And that'll be the next thing, won't it? You know, over the coming days, we know in the news there'll be leaks about exactly what food they're eating and how many beers one of his aides or assistants or another member of the party may have had during this so-called meeting, party, work, whatever. I don't care. I made a video about the Boris party thing and I didn't care about that either. I can find myself caring about this even less because it's just going to devolve into a stupid tit-for-tat thing with leaks coming from one side and then from the other just to discredit their opposition. And I use the word opposition so lightly because, like I say, Sir Keir Starmer has been precisely zero opposition to Boris throughout this whole thing. He has used any of Boris's failings, any of his poor decision making purely as a political point scoring tool rather than a means by which to maybe put together some alternate policies and actually challenge Boris's leadership and challenge the Tory party's mandates and lockdowns and all the restrictions they put in place over the last 2-year period. If you care about this, then fine. If you want to get angry at politicians being hypocritical, then that's absolutely fine, but what else did we expect? I don't actually care if politicians are having beers and takeaway pizzas, maybe in a group of larger than 6 inside their offices or whatever. I don't care. I care about what they do. I care about their policies. I care about the way they run the country. Sir Winston Churchill, whose name I feel almost filthy mentioning in a video when I'm talking about Keir Starmer, he was a fantastic leader, one of the greats. Obviously, he steered us through a war, and he brought us to victory. He, however, was a very, very flawed human being. He was an alcoholic. He was a womanizer at best. He had many, many negative character traits, but I didn't care. I don't care, and I can't care because he brought us to victory during the war. He was a great leader when it mattered. And that's what we need in Brexit. That's what we needed in COVID, a great leader when it mattered. History will tell us how well Boris did, and like I say, I can't compare him to Churchill, but if he gets us through the rest of the COVID pandemic in a relatively efficient way, in the same way that the vaccine rollout has been undeniably a huge success, then maybe he'll go down in history as a good leader and not as one who had a garden party and a few glasses of wine with their cheese. Maybe we need to focus on what's important rather than picking them up on the smallest elements of hypocrisy, which, let's face it, is a mainstay of politics. Stay safe and sane. All the best.